Hey everyone, welcome to another week's video. So just following off of last week's video, I figured I'd show you some of the fancy goldfish that are in the store. So right here, these guys are called pom-pom fantails with the pom-poms on their nose. We've got a more goldfish with the giant eyes. And we've got the black moors here, also the giant eyes. Another pom-pom, as you can tell, this guy's got some really big pom-poms. And so these guys are the Sarasa Goldfish, which are single-tailed goldfish, as you can tell, versus the other guys with the double tails. The single tails are more active and they do swim a lot more. So with those guys, you typically want to keep them in, I recommend at least 40 gallons or up. Whereas with the fancies, the double tails, you can do a 10 or ideally a 20 gallon or up. Alright, so next up, I just figured I'd show some of the variety of the stuff we have in this tank. So this right here is a threadfin rainbow. This guy's a beautiful male. There's some of the females right there. These always recommend getting them in groups because the males will display for the females and they'll flex their fins for them, those long fins that you see on them. So yeah, they're really fun to watch. Next up, we've got these pearl Grommies. These are one of the more medium-sized growing Grommies. I would consider them semi-aggressive. Wouldn't keep them with anything too peaceful because they get to about 5 inches, and depending on the individual personality, they can become somewhat aggressive, but for the most part, I would consider them non-aggressive. And last but not least, we've got this guy right here, beautiful electric blue Jack Dempsey. His color will just get more and more bright as he grows, and with these guys, I personally have never really seen them above 5 or 6 inches, but it says online that they can get to about 7, but I believe that would mainly be depending on the environment they're in. So yeah, definitely come check these guys out. Alrighty, and last but not least, we've got a nice mixed tank right here. So these guys are juvenile yellow lab African cichlids. I would never really recommend mixing them with the other fish you see in this tank other than when they're small like this, because full grown these guys are about 7-8 inches and get pretty aggressive. But for the time being, they're pretty nice. In the back there, we've got the neon blue dwarf rainbows. So these guys only get to about 3 inches compared to the other rainbows, which typically get to about 5. So they're better for smaller tanks of 15 gallons up. Of course, got the albino Cory cats, which are a nice schooling fish and a good bottom dweller to clean up the bottom of your tanks. These guys are very peaceful. Recommend groups ideally, and tanks about 10 gallons or up. And then last but not least, these guys right here are Skunk Clutches, another very active schooling fish. Do best either in singles or groups of, I recommend 5 or more. These guys are one of the smaller growing botillas, getting to about 3 inches. And fun fact about these guys, really good snail eaters. So if you have any pet snails, consider checking these guys out. Thanks for watching.